Before I begin, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next shocking story. Trust me, you'll want to be here for everything that unfolds. I didn't notice it at first, the subtle flickers in her eyes, the hesitation when she spoke. But that evening, when she slammed the door behind her and told me, with a careless laugh, that it was none of my business where she was going, something inside me snapped. I was washing the car in the driveway, sunlight burning my neck, when her words hung in the air like a dense fog I couldn't shake. I remember staring at the soapy water dripping down my arms, hands trembling, heart thundering in a way that made me feel both alive and hollow. I wanted to ask her, to demand some shred of truth, but all I could do was swallow and stare at the tires I was supposed to be cleaning. It felt absurd, mundane chores while a storm brewed inside my own home. I waited for her to leave, listening to the soft click of the front gate, the muted slam of the car door. Then silence. A silence that was heavier than any argument we'd ever had, thicker than the lies that were already weaving themselves around our lives. That silence pushed me into a rage I didn't recognize. It wasn't just anger. It was betrayal, disbelief, heartbreak. Every emotion converging like a tidal wave I couldn't escape. I went inside and changed the locks. Cold metal in my hands, a small, deliberate act of reclamation. This house, our house, would no longer be a stage for her secrets. When I finished, I walked through each room, touching surfaces I had memorized for years, the scent of her perfume still lingering faintly in the corners, and I realized how deeply I had been blind. How easily I had let trust morph into complacency. She returned that night, trying the door, her face a mask of confusion and irritation. "Why are the locks changed?" she asked, voice sharp yet hesitant. I let the silence stretch. Let her eyes search for answers I refused to give. "It's simple," I said finally, my voice calm but icy. "I don't think someone who can't answer honestly about where they're going belongs in my home." Her lips pressed into a thin line, and for a fleeting second, I saw something raw, fear, maybe even guilt, but she quickly masked it with indifference. "You're overreacting," she said, though there was a tremor in her tone. "I don't have to explain myself to you." Her words, defiant and casual, were a hammer to my chest. I could feel the last shreds of the life I thought we had dissolved. Every memory, the quiet Sunday mornings, the dinners we shared, the laughter echoing through these walls, suddenly seemed fragile, threadbare, and dangerously close to vanishing entirely. The next few days were a blur. I watched her from the window as she left, seemingly without direction, a ghost moving through our neighborhood. I felt the gnawing compulsion to follow, to catch her in the act, but fear and doubt twisted around my mind. Was I imagining things? Was this paranoia? But deep down I knew. Every instinct screamed that the truth was far uglier than my mind could conjure. I found proof hidden in plain sight, messages on her phone, dates and names, plans I wasn't included in. Each word felt like a knife twisting in my chest. Each sentence a betrayal I couldn't unhear. I reread them over and over, unable to stop, unable to escape the sickening mixture of rage and heartbreak that consumed me. I loved her, or at least the version of her I thought I knew. But the reality was a jagged void of lies. The confrontation was inevitable. I waited until she returned late one night, shadows stretching across the living room like fingers reaching for me. When she stepped inside, the air was thick, oppressive. I laid the messages on the table, her eyes widening, lips quivering with a mix of fear and anger. "I trusted you." I said, the words raw, broken, deliberate. "I gave you everything, and this is what you do with it." Her denial was immediate, but hollow. The tremors in her hands betrayed her calm facade, and for the first time, I understood the depth of her duplicity. She wasn't just hiding things from me. She had been erasing me from her life entirely, step by careful step. The final act was merciless. I packed the essentials, watching as she tried to argue, to manipulate, to guilt me. I threw the rest out, her belongings, her memories, everything that tethered her to this house. With every item removed, I felt my pulse steady, clarity returning, a painful liberation that left me exhausted but unbroken. She left screaming, rage and desperation spilling into the night, while I stood in the doorway, chest heaving, heart raw, the sound of the locks clicking behind her a solemn drumbeat of closure. And in the quiet that followed, I realized something I hadn't understood in months. Betrayal can shatter trust, but it can also forge something stronger. Something cold, resilient, and brutally honest. The house was mine again, and so in a way was I. If you want more stories like this, hit subscribe and join me. I promise, the next one will shake you even deeper.